Each year, members of the graduating class select one of their own to serve as class speaker. I have the pleasure of introducing this year's class speaker, Efrain Joshua Hudnell. Efrain received his undergraduate degree from New Mexico State University, where he majored in government. After graduation, Efrain joined the United States Army, where he served as a commissioned officer for 5 years. He served as an infantry officer and was responsible for the training of infantrymen numbering as few as 18 to as many as 154. He was later promoted to the rank of captain and was appointed an officer in the Military Intelligence Corps. Immediately after completing his service to the country, Efrain began his legal studies. At the law school, Efrain was a member of both the Moot Court Board and the Alternative Dispute Resolution Board. He won the law school's 1L mock trial competition and was a member of the mock trial team that placed fourth at the National Black Law Student Association mock trial competition. He was awarded the Golden Gavel as a 1L and was named to the National Order of Barristers. Throughout law school, Efrain gained a valuable legal experience focusing on serving the public good. He was a summer law clerk with the Washington Attorney General's Office, a legal intern with the Senate Committee Services of the Washington State Senate, and a Rule 9 intern with the Seattle City Attorney's Office. Efrain's most significant contribution to the School of Law has been his service as president of the Student Bar Association. Through his leadership, the SBA implemented changes designed to increase accessibility for student representatives, streamline various administrative processes, modernize communication and publication requirements, and made the law school's learning environment as equitable and fair as possible. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the leadership role Efrain played in advocating for a diploma privilege for the graduates planning to take the Washington State Bar. In addition to his advocacy with the WSBA Board of Governors and members of the Washington Supreme Court, Efrain co-founded United for Diploma Privilege for All, a nationwide solidarity movement of law students, graduates, professors, and lawyers mobilizing for diploma privilege for all. It is my great pleasure to invite Efrain Hudnell to speak on behalf of the graduating class of 2020.
Classmates, colleagues, friends, congratulations on the monumental achievement that is graduating from law school. And congratulations to those of us who by now are fully barred and practicing law. I think it goes without saying that none of us imagined a world full of Zoom calls, diploma privilege, and virtual commencements. Moreover, 3 years ago, when we started this journey together, none of us could have imagined that we'd be entering the workplace at a time of economic strife, a toxic election cycle, and racial tension at least a generational high. The pain being felt right now is so very real. But amidst all of this, I dare say, there is hope. There's hope because we face these crises together. And when we work together, there's very little that we cannot do. It is the combination of this moment and our newfound status as attorneys that leads me to believe that we have been called to take up the great mantle of leadership. Admittedly, leadership is one of those buzzwords that gets thrown around from everywhere between the boardroom to the battlefield. And very few people take the time to define what it is they mean when they say leader or leadership. So I'd like to start by saying that the leadership I am talking about is not simply leading by example, which I think we are already doing. Think back to the sleepless nights, the standardized tests, the life circumstances to to overcome. Just in being here, so many of us are changing the DNA of this profession for the better, and in doing so, leading by example. You should be proud of what you stand for, of who you are. And I acknowledge that sometimes leading by example might be all that you have in the moment, capacity or bandwidth-wise. But the leadership I'm talking about, it asks a little bit more of us. The leadership I'm talking about is service-oriented. It happens every day, but is not boastful. It celebrates a member of the team in success and takes the responsibility for failure. It means being accountable and willing to be accountable for the actions of others in pursuit of a shared goal. It doesn't sound quite as glamorous, but it is practical, and it is something that we all can do. And it is also in very real need. Oddly enough, to be the leader that I'm talking about, it requires us to get out of our comfort zone and be a little vulnerable too. Vulnerability and leadership don't sound like they're terms that go hand in hand. Oftentimes when we think of leaders, we think of stoic individuals who unblinkingly stare fate in the eye. But I posit that vulnerability is at the core of human connection, and human connection is what we are all wired up for. If leading is as much about the people we lead as it is the shared goal, then I would argue that a failure to connect with your people, a failure to be vulnerable, is a failure to connect with your people. We, sadly, are inheriting a culture, one that tells us to put on a mask, to have all the right answers, to go at it alone, if need be. We must work vigilantly to push back against these cultural norms, to dismantle it if we must, and show up with our full selves, to be the leaders that this moment requires. Our paths forward are as unique as the ones that led us here. Regardless of what your path is moving forward, I hope to stand next to you in solidarity as we work to recraft the collective narrative, both in and outside of the courtroom, as we work to reshape our communities and systems to the benefit of us all. I am confident that we will rise to meet the challenge of this moment, that we, the class of 2020, can overcome. We will do it because we must. Thank you. And again, congratulations, friends. We did it.